guys hear me? Yeah, for sure. So I'm Aki. I co-founded MarketMuse. Basically, the problem that I had before I started this, I was at another startup where we made a big data analytic database, and I had to write content. I was doing sales and marketing for this startup. So I had to write content about analytic databases, and so that kind of led me to the question of, well, what do people want to read about analytic databases? You've got, features you can write about, asset consistency or MECC. You have use cases, but so on one hand, you've got the marketer kind of writing things about the product, and on the other hand, you have people searching for things related to that, and so how can you make that connection better? And we decided to do it through machine learning, and so that led us to this current iteration of this product called MarketMuse. And this launched, we put it out there a couple days ago, so it's pretty new, but let me just show you how it works. All right. Cool. Oh, yeah, much better. So now this is a picture, so we need to go into the thing. Alrighty, so basically you've got, let's say you're a marketer, you've got to write some content, or you've written some content. I'm going to show you one of our, so on the way here we got our first paying customer, so this is them. They're like, oh yeah, and here's 2 bugs, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to fix that by the time I get it. So you'll see the bug, but it's okay. So they wrote this content, monitoring performance of SaaS, blah, blah. So basically, in the current iteration, you just sort of copy this text, and then after tomorrow, you'll be able to put in a URL directly. But so you put in the content as text, and what it's going to do is it's analyzing what's in that content, and it's modeling what's conceptually, like what are the topics in this content, and then it's finding what are things that are conceptually related to the topics in that content. It's going to give us a list, and it uses machine learning and just web data to do this. And so basically you get a list of things that are conceptually related, and you can put those in your marketing so that, if you missed something, if you forgot to include some sort of concept, you can put it in, and then people searching for that concept, they're going to be able to find this piece of content. It takes about 20-30 seconds. It's a little bit slow right now, but it's going to come back. And yep. Okay, so basically these keywords here: traffic manager, traffic analytics, these are things conceptually related to whatever that first blog post was about SaaS. And so if you look on the left, you got the keywords, and then you have your relevance. You can download it as Excel. And then this other thing here, attractiveness, it's still sort of in early alpha mode, but basically this is giving you information about that keyword or that concept. How heavily searched for is that? So, if you're thinking of what concepts you want to have in your content, you want things that are going to get found and people are searching for it. So if you're sort of attractiveness, you get things that people are searching for that are still relevant in this domain. So that's it. So this is free. This free version. 15. You got 15 results for any. You can put in any content you want. And I'm just going to show you the paid version. I'm going to sign in. And okay. And then now you'll see the bug. Oh, there's the bug. And then there we go. Not too painful. And so yeah, we'll fix that tonight. So now it's going to do the same thing, but it's going to give you 50 concepts for that piece of content. Because if you're a serious marketer, you're gonna, this content is basically your way to get really relevant traffic. So we give you 50 results. And actually in the back end, we're generating over 1,000 results, but we're only serving some of the top ones. So we got to figure out what to do with the other 950. But yeah, so now you have more stuff. And so you wrote this content, and now you can figure out, hey, do I want to put, what of this do I want to put in there? And when you do that, it's going to boost your content, the performance of your content by 2x, 3x, or more, because you're going to have that many more relevant people who are searching for this stuff find it. So that's it. Any questions?
How is this different than the keyword search tool that AdWords provides?
Yep, very good question. So there are a number of keyword search tools and SEM tools out there that typically they look at permutations of an existing concept. So you put in dog food and it'll give you dog food Boston, dog food, things that take that seed term into account and then branch off of that. This is giving you things that do not have dog food in it. So the other concepts. So instead of going deep, it goes broad. And the relevance rating, which when you're downloading, so you can actually see there's a relevance score between 0 and 1. The relevance rating keeps it, helps you figure out which things are actually relevant, so that we're not just giving you 1,000 things. We're telling you, well, these are the top things that are most related. So this is good for organic SEO and content.
Okay, so you're saying that the Google AdWords version, like if you choose one of those keywords like cloud computing, it might give you a whole bunch of similar things, say like cloud computing, but just different variations.
So the
add a different word to it or something.
That's right. So sorry, I didn't repeat. The question is, how is this different from the Google Keyword Planner? And yes, so Keyword Planner will give you a lot of things like cloud computing, blah, 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 and so on. The Keyword Planner will actually give you a couple of things that are relevant, but doesn't include the seed term, but not a lot, maybe 10% or less. And we're only giving you organic. So the difference is, if you're doing a lot of SEO or content, you want to write things that sound, like you don't want to just write permutations, you want to write things that are conceptually more interesting and there's just more stuff in there. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Does the relevance score come from you guys looking at web pages and seeing which keywords are mentioned on the same web page, or is it more advanced than that? How does that work?
Yeah. So the question is, where does the relevance score come from? So we have an algorithm that uses Bayesian statistics. It's an ensemble algorithm modeled off of latent Dirichlet allocation. And basically what we do is, we download web pages about that concept, and then we model what are their conceptual relationships, and then we calculate probabilities based on, well, this is more likely to be part of that domain. So basically counting stuff. But my co-founder does all the algo stuff, so I'm not that good at it.
So you touched on very briefly the difference between relevance and attractiveness.
Yes.
Is there some kind of combination between the two you're supposed to look for, or is it something like, why would there be two different? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely, and that's a really good feedback for the UI here. So relevance is, like, this thing is conceptually similar to that thing. Attractiveness is, this thing is going to generate a lot of traffic, and we should separate them out. Here, we bake in relevance into attractiveness, but we should actually separate them out because it's two different things. Thank you. Other questions? Yes.
Do you guys plan on having like an API in the back where other services could tie into this and offer it to their clients?
Yes, actually we have an API, and I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to show you. But it'd probably break. Yes, they're an API. This actually out of date. That port should be 8,000. So, but actually, you can use this for free right now. Didn't hear that from me, but yeah, you could. So that's the idea, is have people leverage it. There's actually nobody else that's doing this type of measurement of how things are conceptually related to each other. So that's a big use case for us. ISV OEM should be a big one. Yes, sir.
The attractiveness that you mentioned, how do you know what keywords, like what data set are you using to know which keywords are more popular?
Yeah, great question. So where do we get our other than the relevance data? Third-party data providers. Here we have SpyFu data provider.
Are you using Solar?
Not yet, but we're bootstrapped. But then once we get some, we're going to do seed this spring, summer, and then once we do, we're going to start our own search indexing, and then we'll use Solar. Yeah. Actually, on that note, I should mention. So my co-founder is a deep analytics guy. I'm like sort of whatever. I do anything but that. And then we're actually we're thinking of adding a front end dev, like even potentially as a co-founder. So if you guys know anyone who wants to work on a startup, front end, UI, UX, we'd love to work with someone who could create a beautiful experience. My time is up. Oh, last question. Any other last questions?
What's solar mean?
Solar, it's an indexing tool. This is Apache Solar. It's like a search tool. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Aki.
Come join New England's largest technology meetup, sponsor an event, present, or attend. Visit www.bostonnewtech.org.